I hope you're wearing your seatbelts, lords and ladies, because you're on the road to 40. Intro to show. I think I'm just going to do that for every episode from now on. I'm just going to come up with a different melody. That last one was very Colbert Report, I realized afterwards. Got a lot to talk about tonight, so let's just hope the timing's right, and we can get 2 or 3 videos done before the sun comes up, because I got to get back to my coffin. Alright, so the first thing is first. Today I decided to kind of branch out a little bit and throw myself out there. So I put a link to this channel over on I'm from Taunton, Mass, and I live in Taunton, Mass. And they were very, very cool about me posting, because I'm from Taunton, Mass. I didn't realize with groups like you're supposed to ask the moderator about posting and stuff. And Nancy Reed Zilch was really cool about letting me keep it up over there. So I really appreciate that, and it means a lot to be able to get it out there to other people who haven't seen these. Because up till now, it's been pretty much sharing it with friends and family and hoping that they shared it with other people. And now I'm finally having the opportunity to reach a broader audience. And if you're one of my new subscribers or new watchers, hey, welcome. Come aboard. Come on. Let's get on this road to 40 and let's have some fun along the way, you know? So I also need to give a shout out to Trisha Fernandez from I Live in Taunton, Mass. Or I live in Taunton. Taunton, Mass, I believe. I apologize. I'll put links to both of those up as well. Because, you know, it was nice of you to offer to let me put it up over there as well. And I'm hoping that, you know, a few other groups and pages that I'm a part of, I can maybe branch out a little bit more and grow a bit of a following, because I just hope people are enjoying these. I'm having fun, and I seem to be getting good feedback from everybody, not to pat myself on the back, but just to, you know, it just inspires me more and more. And I honestly sometimes, like when I get home at night, either I put the kids down or Carol puts the kids down, and I make my drink and I sit down and I get my lights on, which actually I have to fix this light. I want this light over here because of a recommendation from Bob Melanson. Thank you again. But I think things are looking better. I'm starting to feel better about this, and the topics are just, oh my god, I have so much I wanted to talk about before I even started posting on Facebook today. So I know in the preview earlier, I mentioned wanting to talk about mega churches and there, and Ice Cube and stuff. So, and I probably will get to those in a later video tonight. But for the primary videos, I want to talk about Taunton. You know, this is the theme of the day is literally been Taunton, because, you know, posting it on the 2 Taunton sites, and you know, thanks again, guys, really seriously, for letting me put them up there. I thought I'd tell some Taunton stories. It's tough to tell a Taunton story. Well, I mean, you gotta pick locations, I guess, so that we can associate when you're hearing these terms and stuff. But I'm gonna try to probably steer it more personal, just because I don't know a lot of Taunton stories outside of my own experiences, to be honest. The Silver City, I was gonna even look up today facts on Taunton so that people who aren't from Taunton, mostly probably Lynchburg people, could know some stats. Maybe I'll do that while we're talking here. Oh, we'll try. I have a hard time doing this. Facts about... Oh boy, I am a horrible typerist. Taunton, Mass. Okay, so, I mean, it's just really piled on today. Jeez Louise. Alright, so let's talk about Taunton. Let's say, I went to H.H. Galligan, from 2nd grade until 4th grade. We moved back to Taunton after my dad passed away. We lived in Mendon, Mass before that. And Mendon, Mass was a beautiful little town. There was, I think it was like a population of like 600 at the time. My dad was the minister down there. And we had the parsonage, which is what they call the house for the pastor of the church. They own the church and they own the thing. So we lived there. And very spacious kind of farmy house in a way, with a big yard and rhubarb, or it might have been bamboo. I can't remember, growing in the backyard. I used to cut it down and make forts in there. And so we moved back home after my dad died. I was 7. That was 1982, August of 1982. And I started school at H.H. Galligan that year in 2nd grade. I had Mrs. Dooley. I don't know if anybody else knows who Miss Dooley was, but she scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. She really did. I think I was obviously having a hard time with life in general. You know, your dad dies when you're 7. It can have an effect on you, I imagine. So I didn't want to go to school. I hated school. I always hated school. I hated school up until probably about my junior year. Oddly enough, that's when my grades started to decline, too, because I'd always been a pretty good student. But I kind of gave up on grades because I was going to be bigger than the Beatles. I know I've said that before, and I'll probably say it again. So we moved back here. I had Miss Dooley. That was 2nd grade. I wish I could tell you more about 2nd grade. Michael Jackson was huge at the time, or I was just starting to get into Michael Jackson at the time. 3rd grade, Miss Furtado, if I'm not mistaken, and I met. This is weird. I don't know if he's watching or not, but Rafael Gamarez. I actually became friends with Rafael Gamarez, a different Rafael Gamarez than I would become friends with in 4th grade, because the other one moved away. It was really weird. It was kind of freaky that they both had the same name. But I guess, Portuguese. Desculpa, fala Portuguese. Back in Massachusetts, you got a lot of the Portuguese, as we call them, the pork and cheese. So yeah, that was 2nd, 3rd, and 4th was Galligan. Then I went to Kohanet School, which I started walking to school at that point because it was close enough to walk to. And I heard they turned that into like an office building or a city building, something to do with the city. I don't know. But that's kind of sad because, I went there through 8th grade. Not very memorable. Oh, McLaughlin. I had a teacher. One of those teachers, kind of like when you're watching Men in Black and they refer to the alien that, oh, she was an alien. This woman was older than dirt, and she literally made me cry in class. Like, I've always been a very sensitive person, and she could just, boom. If you were good, you got a cookie. I remember she had a cookie. Like, it was a weird way that came out of her mouth. Like, I would always look at her weird. I think that was the alien in her. But, yeah, that's what I remember about 5th grade, I think. So then I went on to, I had a choice to make in my 8th grade year, if I was going to go to BP, BA, or Taunton High. And in hindsight, I think I probably would have liked Taunton High a little bit better, but I ended up going to BP because it was a regional technical vocational school where you did your main subject one week and all your academics the other week, and I think you did English on the other week too. But I hated school so much through middle school that I was like, you know what? If I can just do art for a week and not have to do a full 4 years of high school, I'm going to do everything in my power to do that. And I regret it now because there's so many other things I would like to have gone on to do. Actually, there's not. I guess high school is the most memories out of all my schooling years, but one thing I remember is Charles Dacey, Mr. Dacey. I had him my sophomore year, and I got a D in his class. But he led me on to the philosophy of, or the idea of, free will versus fate. And that was kind of like an eye-opening moment. And I'll always remember that about him. He had an opportunity to play for the Celtics, and he turned it down. I guess he was a crazy basketball player. He was really good, and he decided to teach students. And ever since I learned all that about him, I had like a newfound respect for him, because that's pretty cool. Like, to give up money and fame or whatever to, I don't know the full story. Maybe he broke an ankle or something. Maybe he really wanted to play for the Celtics, but he ended up teaching. He was a good teacher, too. And Mr. Eugenio, Mark Eugenio, he was my art teacher, and he was a phenomenal artist, and he was the only artistic influence I had in high school, other than, my friends and stuff like that. But Dave Picardi, the other teacher, I believe they're both dead now, which is sad, because Mr. Eugenio would have liked to have gotten to know him better later on in life, I guess. But Dave Picardi. He taught commercial art at BP, at least 89 through 93. And I remember that class, I wish Mr. Eugenio taught the art week. I can't remember what the name of that week was, because we had such a good time in there, but we'd have learned so much more, because the other guy just was not a very good teacher. We learned things like newspaper prep stuff, where you'd actually have to lay down the red sheet to cut out the images and leave the text. And it was such a waste. Like, we were right on the cusp. My generation is like, we just missed out on learning a lot of the newer stuff before we left high school. Shortly thereafter, everything went to computers. I mean, like, I remember being, my freshman year, you got to try 4 different classes. I chose commercial art, because that's my priority, and graphic arts, which was more like the post-production rather than the pre-production. Like, the artist is the person that creates the art. The graphic artist, in this case at least, was the person who produces it by putting it on a t-shirt or typesetting and stuff like that. It was terrible. I remember you actually had to take the letters, which are made out of, I can't remember what the material was. Oh no, you had to actually, I don't want to say forge them, but there was this vat of lead, and you would make the letters, and then you'd lay it down, you'd roll with the ink and everything. I mean, we were still doing that back in, that was 89, I think, or 90. I mean, that's crazy. Nobody does that anymore. Does anybody? I don't even think, maybe newspapers. That's probably the only one. Okay, so that's my high school years. But that class, we broke windows in that class. I think I almost got either suspended or expelled. We were terrible to Mr. Picardi. And as bad as a teacher he was, I'm not going to defend him and say he was a good teacher now. He was a bad teacher. I didn't like him. Or maybe he wasn't right for me. But we were terrible to him. We stole a picture of his kids once off of his desk and replaced it with the goat of Mendes or something. It's just this evil-looking devil horn thing. And, I got in big trouble for that one. I remember I stuck. That was me. Yeah, that's right. There was a huge, 8 by 6 foot picture he had put on the wall, this poster thing, super expensive. It was the moon looking over Earth. Well, we cut out Elvis out of a picture, and I stuck it up there, and he was none too happy about that. Then there was the time, we used to get snack time in shop class. That's what I'm thinking of. You could order, milk and donuts at the beginning of the day, and by, the end of first period, they would bring it to you. Well, we used to take our milks, full milks, and there was, rafters, above the windows, so you could throw them up there, and they'd sit up there, and they'd rot. And I don't know why we did it, because it was our class, so we had to deal with the stink. And I got caught throwing it up there once. And I was looking at, I think it was Frank Lewis, and I'm going, did he hear that? Because it hit the wall hard. And the next thing I heard, before even Frank said anything, was, Jason, can you come over here? I was like, oh, man. I was a pretty good kid growing up until I met my high school friends, I guess. You bastards. So that's my Taunton schooling experience. After that, I got into church, which I've talked about enough, youth group. And those were great years. I met some of my best friends, at that church, so Winthrop Street Baptist Church. So I have nothing to regret about that. Taunton. So many stories. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I used to go fishing with my uncle. Remember Tom's bait shack? I think it's gone now. But that bridge, you used to be able to go down there. I remember going, every weekend with my uncle fishing down there. I did a lot with my uncle, Stephen Crowninshield. Not the cop. The one that worked at Paul Dever. And, he was just a great guy. He really kind of stepped up and took care of me and, took me to things, because I wouldn't have done anything if it wasn't for him. My mother never drove. She's legally blind. So, thankfully I got to do stuff because of him. And then he died. My life is surrounded by death and darkness. It is. My grandmother, Mary Louise Green, she, I was always close to my grandmother. She was a wonderful, wonderful woman. I can't say a single bad thing about her. We used to prank phone calls. This was the day before, caller ID on her rotary dial phone. It's so sad that so many people, like our kids, will never have to deal with that. The patience you learn from dialing like an 800 number is it will stay with you for the rest of your life. 1 8 0 0. You can't force it. You can't speed it up. There's just no way around it. It's frustrating. Mario, who played drums with me for 10 years, we played in a band together. His mom still had one in their house. Like, he was hardcore Portuguese, like full-blooded. Like, I was only half. I'm only half. I'm an Oliveira. I don't know if I've ever mentioned my name on here. Jason Andrew Oliveira. That's my name. It's a fun time to introduce myself, like 13 episodes in. Yeah, and I'm 39 if you didn't know. I'll be 40. That's why I'm doing these, the road to 40. So this is 16 minutes. So I'd like to talk more about Taunton, and I'm going to make it a regular habit to come back and visit the Taunton subject, because the first nearly 30 years of my life I was there, with the exception of just a few years. So thanks again, Nancy and Trisha, for letting me post it and share this. And I hope you guys check this out, and I hope that, you like it. Or at least like it enough to watch it every now and again. So, and thanks for the new subscribers and old subscribers, and we're gonna dig in a little bit more after this video. This is my playful video, I guess, for the night. So what are you gonna do tomorrow to make somebody smile? I think if you find yourself in a line, maybe do something ridiculous, something crazy to make everybody look at you. Maybe not everybody, but everybody in your surrounding area. I'll tell you one quick brief story about me and Gary Rigo, who I've mentioned before. He was just like a spectacle. I don't think it was intentional either. Like, he used to just say the most random crap, or like almost embarrassing stuff. Not embarrassing. I don't want to, because what I want to tell you, it shouldn't be embarrassing to tell you if you were in this position. But we used to go to the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, and like, he would just like look at me and be like, "Hey, my friend here, he's not gay," and like, he would just do stuff like that to put you on the spot. Or like, you'd go into a line at a restaurant or like a fast food place, and he would just say the most ridiculous stuff. But it always made me smile. Like, hearing somebody just say something completely out of place is good for me. I don't know. Whatever it is that you find most comfortable, make somebody smile. Tell me a story about it. I'm sick of being the only one talking here. Come on, put some comments out there. I've gotten a few of them and I appreciate them, but I want to interact more. So, what are you going to do to make somebody smile tomorrow? Or the day after? I don't know. And don't feel like you ever have to. It's not like I'm grading you. It's not like you're going to come back tomorrow and be like, "Oh, Mr. Oliveira, I forgot to make somebody smile." Hey, whatever. Let's just keep the world spinning and smiles on everybody's face whenever we can. All right, just keep it in your subconscious. I don't know, or don't. All right, go make somebody smile, and I'll be back with the next video if you want to tune in. All right, good night.